Hello everybody, this is Kaz with KLC Sports Productions, bringing you another Back to the Basics series game. Today we are going to be looking at the PvT matchup and one of the opener/builds that I've been working on in the past couple weeks. I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. It has been absolutely phenomenal with me. I've currently in the process of creating a website for my YouTube channel, so things are going to get rolling with content out on there, so I'll be putting links up to that here on the YouTube channel here shortly. So keep on the lookout for that. As far as other announcements, my voice is a little bit on the raspy side. I went for a wonderful jog earlier today and it's freezing outside here in Cincinnati, so a little bit of a bummer. So let's go ahead and get right into this build. PvT, I like to go with kind of a more aggressive type opening in the PvT matchup, just because a lot of times you can see some really weird Marine Marauder timings early game, as well as the obligatory 10-minute Marine Marauder medevac push that we all love and hate at the same time. So this is actually a spawn off of one of MC's builds. It's kind of the 2-stalker mothership core build. If you do a Google search on it, I'm sure you'll find the full breakout of that. I might link to a site with that build order. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So you start out with your normal 9 pylon, chrono boost right after that on your Nexus to continue probe production. You're going to go for your gateway on 13, and then you get your 2 assimilators before your second pylon. That actually I found gives you a little bit less amount of time to plant down your cybernetics core, because you have just a little bit extra mining time on your minerals. So cybernetics core goes down immediately after your gateway is finished, and once each assimilator is done, two guys in each gas for kind of that optimum amount of gas that you need early on to get your stalker, your mothership core, and your warp gate research going kind of relatively close to each other. So warp gate research and stalker go down as quickly as possible, and then roughly around, I believe it's right after this probe. First these 2 probes, yeah, because around 25 supply or 24 supply is when the mothership core goes down, and that should cap you out, so the pylon needs to go down ASAP. So this stalker unfortunately is going to pylon block us just a little bit. The pylon should have gone down just a hair earlier, but overall doing pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and get up a second gateway, because obviously we don't know if we're going with we're seeing some aggression or things like that. Obviously, the mothership core probably should have come with the stalker a little bit earlier. So yeah, so the stalker's going to be moving out. We're going to be poking. Basically, this little push, the goal of this push is to hit around the 5:30 mark or a little bit before. This allows for you to catch a bunker being built if you went for an early expand, or kind of that early, maybe I only have a handful of Marines because I wanted to focus more on getting my economy up and things like that. So come up and I see a handful of Marines and a Marauder. So we're going to immediately back off, since we know obviously 2 stalkers and a mothership core really isn't going to do a whole lot, especially without any tanky zealots. So basically behind this we went ahead and expanded, because obviously the point of this was to do a little bit of damage, not necessarily kill your opponent, and then help get your economy going right after that. And then behind this, I like to go with the Robo Facility as opposed to maybe a Stargate Oracle follow-up. That's just kind of my preference, because I like leading into a more Colossus-focused play and then follow it up with the Twilight Council. So basically at this point we're just going to be focusing on getting up our economy, as well as getting out some more units, because obviously we know he's got a fair number of units. Nice little SCV pick off. He's got a fair number of units, and the likelihood of him just continuing on building units is probably pretty high. So at this point we want to continue on getting units, and, you know, kind of keep moving on in the build. Now, I do want to make a comment that this is against a medium AI, so nothing too terribly special, just kind of an example game to give you guys an idea of a build that you might want to try out on the ladder. So, yeah, basically behind this, I'm going to build up a Marauder, one Immortal, get an Observer out. We're going to go scout with the Observer and kind of push across the field to see what's going on. Obviously against an AI, you have no idea whether or not they're going to actually expand or do anything, so I choose to move out here. We do see a small little force coming out, so we try and save the Stalker as much as we possibly can. He focuses down on the Zealot as opposed to the Stalker, so we're all as well. We actually come out of that quite ahead. I think he only took out one Zealot, yeah. So definitely looking pretty good. Basically behind this, we're just going to follow up since we know we're in a very good position. We can just go push over, see what kind of damage we can do, and hopefully win the game. But behind this, we're going to go ahead and get our Robo Bay down to get our Colossus production going, and then we're also going to be, I believe after one more warp in of Zealots, we go ahead and push in a couple more gateways to get our production up for our 2 base economy. And basically from this, you want to follow up. You'll get out 1 or 2 Colossus and then immediately transition over into High Templar. Probably about this time, once the second gas is complete and you've got 3 guys in each of these gas, that's when you want to start focusing on upgrades as well. So overall, come in here. Obviously, since it's an AI, it doesn't really have a whole lot, and things are looking pretty good for us. So, but yeah, so like I said, you would follow up with getting a couple Colossus and then moving into, you know, transitioning over to the High Templar. You'd probably start with Charge first before Blink. I'm a little bit more Stalker heavy, so I might go for Blink. It just depends on what kind of army composition you tend to favor. You know, that's kind of what dictates which route you go. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the build overall. It's a very simple build. MC did a really good job of kind of giving that nice little benchmark of the 5:30 timing is when kind of you want to be over at your opponent's base with the single Stalker and Mothership Core with the second Stalker following up. Basically what that does is it allows if your opponent does choose to be a little bit more greedy, you can usually pick off maybe an SCV or 2, or even get into his base and do some significant damage. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to leave any of your comments down in the comment section below. Would be very curious to know what you thought of the build. If you got any questions, feel free to also leave those down there. Also, feel free, if you would like me to take a look at some of your replays, feel free to send your replays to the email in the description. So yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. Feel free to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and check out some of my other content here on YouTube. And I think that's it. So I will see you guys in the next game.